I, like many people, are watching all of Trump's legal issues unfold. This is going to be an interesting year. Now, I know that his die-hard Trump people, the MAGA cult, will vote for him no matter what. It's going to be interesting to see how the independent voters fall. Now, there are never Trumpers, there are pro Trumpers, let's go. And then there are the independent people that is going to be interesting, and we got to watch. But now let's talk about this E. Jean Carroll situation, that lawsuit, and how he is going to be on the hook for millions of dollars. And even if he wins something on appeal, he has to put that $83 million in escrow because he has lost. That's going to be exciting. That is exciting for me. So this article is from the USA Today. Did Donald Trump grape E.G. Carroll? Here's what the jury and judge said. When E. Jean Carroll and Donald Trump went to trial last spring over her SA allegations, a 9-person civil jury found that Trump did SA her, but that she failed to prove that he raped her. The former president made hay of that distinction when he sued Carroll in June, alleging Carroll defamed him by saying that she was raped in a media interview after the verdict. The counterattack was quickly shot down. Maybe he shouldn't have sued her. Maybe she would have just chilled out. I don't know. But that was probably part of his issue, his problem.
There has denied President Trump the basic American right to say that he's been wrongfully accused by a woman who he does not know, who he never truly met, a photo line does not count, and who has been falsely accusing him time and time and time again.
Federal Judge Lewis Kaplan ruled in August that the jury verdict showed Carroll's rape allegation was substantially true and dismissed the counterclaim. In May, Carroll was awarded a combined $5 million for SA and for a 2022 denial by Trump that the jury concluded defamed Carroll. On Friday, a jury in the separate civil defamation case awarded Carroll $83.3 million for two lengthy denials made in 2019, soon after Carroll went public with her story. Trump has always denied Carroll's allegations. He has already appealed the first verdict and vowed to appeal the second. So, did a jury find Trump raped Carroll or didn't it? Okay, how New York defines grape. The answer has to do with what grape means. Because the jurors rendered their May verdict in a civil case, they were only asked whether Carroll proved her allegation was probably true. In a criminal case, prosecutors would need to prove the allegation beyond a reasonable doubt. Carroll testified that she struggled to get Trump off her as he shoved his mouth on hers, yanked down her tights, and penetrated her with his hand and then his peen. She described him curving his finger inside of her, saying it was extremely painful and a horrible feeling. Under New York criminal law, an assault only constitutes rape if it involves vajayjay being penetrated by a peen. That was the definition the jury was instructed to use in the civil case. By responding no to the question of whether Carroll proved Trump raped her, the jury indicated they weren't convinced Trump penetrated Carroll with his peen, according to Kaplan, who first wrote about the issue in July when he denied Trump a new trial in the SA case. But the jurors' conclusion that Trump SA'd Carroll necessarily implies that they did, in fact, believe he penetrated her with his fingers, Kaplan said. Here was his reasoning. Kaplan noted his instruction to the jury that for Trump to have SA'd Carroll, Trump needed to have touched her intimate parts. The only allegation from Carroll that could possibly fit the bill were forcibly kissing, pulling down her tights, and vajayjay penetration. But the jury couldn't find Trump SA'd Carroll solely based on a non-consensual kiss without ignoring testimony and accepting a version of events contradicted by the overwhelming weight of the evidence, Kaplan said. He noted the kiss was less significant in Carroll's testimony, She said she thought she had laughed after it to throw cold water on anything further. She hadn't described any physical pain or lasting trauma from it. Kaplan has also pointed to the size of the jury's SA award, more than 2 million, as bolstering his conclusion that the verdict was based on finding Trump forcibly penetrated Carroll with his hand, and that act in common modern speech is rape, Kaplan said, as he later summed it up in August when he dismissed Trump's countersuit. It accordingly is the truth, as relevant here, that Mr. Trump did digitally rape Miss Carroll. Why did the jury accept only part of the story? The jurors weren't required to explain why, under the definitions that they were given. They concluded Trump SA'd Carroll, but were less convinced that he raped her. However, in analyzing the jury's verdict, Kaplan said Carroll's testimony about penetration by fingers was more repeated and clear. She said she couldn't see anything that was happening, although she could feel it. Describing the pain from his finger in particular, she testified that she wasn't sure if he got his peen fully or only partially inside her. Kaplan also said a psychologist's testimony bolstered Carroll's allegation about digital penetration. The psychologist described Carroll's squirming as she remembered Trump's fingers inside of her. The stories of other women could have also played a role. Two women testified that they too had been assaulted by Trump. One described Trump groping her breast and reaching up her skirt with what seemed like 40 zillion hands on a plane flight. The other said he pushed her against the wall and forcibly kissed her while she was reporting for a magazine article about Trump's first anniversary to Melania. The jury also watched the tape of Trump's notorious Access Hollywood's comments, in which he crudely describes moving on a woman very heavily and says when you're a celebrity, you can do anything, including grabbing a woman's private parts. In those ways, the jury heard corroboration of Carroll's allegation when it came to Trump's groping and assaulting women, but not when it came to rape with a peen. The fact meant that the jury's verdict on rape was unnecessary and immaterial. In any case, the jury's verdict was conclusive on the broader issue of whether Trump raped Carroll in some way consistent with Carroll's post verdict statements about rape, according to Kaplan. As a result, Ms. Carroll's statements are substantially true. Now, I went to the Twitter to pull some reaction from the Twitter. I am pulling video and some comments. E. Jean Carroll went and had an interview, and what she's going to do with this 83.3 million, she says, I like to give the money to something Donald Trump hates that will cause him pain, for something to give money to certain things, perhaps a fund for the women who have been SA'd by Donald Trump. That would be amazing.
It was so great on Friday. It filled me up. It was almost painful. It's taken really every day. Today, I'm just very happy because I'm calm enough to realize what she did.
It's been reported that you exchanged smiles with the jurors on the way out. Is that true?
Yes.
What was that like?
Well, it was very moving. It made me burst into tears because they met my eyes for the first time. It's very moving.
You said you want to do great things with this $83 million settlement. Give us an idea about that.
Don't want to waste money. Well, I do have an idea. I'd like to give the money to something Donald Trump hates. If it will cause him pain for me to give money to certain things, that's my intent. Well, perhaps a fund for the women who have been sexually assaulted by Donald Trump.
Are you confident?
The elation.
This person says, help get young people, women to vote. There's nothing that Trump and his cons hate more than young people, women, voters turnout. This person said, it's like winning the lottery and spending it all on your neighbor's dream car. Supporting survivors of SA is an amazing move. This person said, you'll need a lot more than 83.3 million for all those women. This person said, throw that shade. I'm here for it. And then got a picture of me, had a video of Trump clapping. This person said, this is a very huge moment, obviously throwing shade at Trump. This person noted that when the verdict was being handed down on Friday, that Fox News was not reporting it like everybody else, because Fox News tailors itself to his supporters, to Trump supporters, and not actual news. They're infotainment. So this is what they said Fox was reporting on. Speed governors. Jessica Biel shares tips for eating in the shower. Biden puts on hard hat backwards. And Elvis actor hired vocal coach to lose accent. That is what Fox was talking about when everybody else was talking about this verdict.
Of this enormous damages amount, unprecedented damages amount, is to tell Donald Trump to shut up. Right? If you could think of it this way, every time Donald Trump wants to insult Gene Carroll, he's going to have to write a $40 million check for each sentence. That's how bad this is. I can't believe his lawyers haven't succeeded in just telling him, look, campaign for president, run for president, make your accusations about a two-tiered justice system, but leave this alone. Stop attacking people who are no longer public citizens. Stop attacking people where you've already lost and the court has already said what you've done is liable, because every time he insults her again, he's going to have to cut another $20 to $30 million check.
So with that $20 to $30 million check and the temptation of him not to let this go unanswered, he's going to answer. He's going to say something. His lawyers are going to tell him not to. But what is the risk there? If he makes no more derogatory comments and just comments on this being an obscene amount of money and keeps it at that, then what?
I think that's okay. He can say, look, I think I shouldn't have lost. I think I'm being treated unfairly. Just he has to stop repeating the same things he said before and which he's lost again and again. And I think that's the other message behind this large verdict, is not just that he should stop insulting Gene Carroll, but he has to stop disrespecting the justice system. I think that's why the judge wouldn't let him testify. He only testified for, 3 minutes a few days ago.
Right.
Why he wasn't allowed to contest things is because by continuing to defy the court by saying these things, he's showing a fundamental disrespect for the justice system and for the views of his fellow citizens, the jurors. I mean, this is not a judge who's punishing him. This is a randomly selected jury of his peers. The whole point of this enormous damages amount, unprecedented damages amount, is to tell Donald Trump to shut up. Right? If you could think of it